Good morning, YouTube. I appreciate your time. This is David, and I'm coming back to you today from beautiful Gulf Shores, Alabama. We are closing up our vacation here this week with my family. They are all at the beach at the moment, enjoying this beautiful day, but I feel the obligation to come on and at least give you some content and some inspiration for the rest of the week, the upcoming weekend. And today I'm going to be talking about something that I think is extremely important, whether you are an online reseller, whether you work 40 hours a week, if you're, whether you're working out, whether you're just, going to school, living your life day in and day out. I think it's super important that we make goals. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Just some simple tips for goal setting, simple tips for getting through the day. Quit showing us white sandy beaches, jerk. Some of us are sitting at their desk. My man Jason, good morning. So like I said before, I'm closing up the week here in Gulf Shores, Alabama, but I wanted to talk about some important things. One of those being, hydration. And when we talk about goals and setting goals and stuff, I think it's really important that we take care of our bodies. First and foremost, this is our temple, so we need to take care of it. One of the really, really important things we need, one of the things we are made up of, is water. Hydrate. We need to hydrate every single day. I'm making a goal of drinking a gallon of water a day. Of course, it's easier said than done, but look, I walk around with my jug. I try to get a gallon in every single day. Look, we are made up of water. 74% of adults today walk around dehydrated. We don't drink enough water. And so when your brain is made up of 90% water and you're not hydrating your body correctly day in and day out, it's hard to be at peak performance. It's hard to produce, whether you're working in business, whether you're working from home, whether you're just working your daily job, whatever that is. It's hard to do what you need to do. You feel a little bit of a lag. You're not as alert. You're not on top of things the way you should be if you're not hydrated. So simple fix: drink water. A gallon of water is like 88 cents at Walmart. Get you a jug of water. Drink one every day. If you have to. For my wife, in the past, I used to put like little Sharpie marks here, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever, with little motivational phrases on them, just to kind of get myself and her motivated to drink water every single day. It's super important. And when you're talking about achieving your goals, something as simple as drinking water every single day will help you just stay more alert, stay more focused, and stay on top of things. One thing that I also try to do every single day is 5:40. I wake up every morning, and it's kind of a weird time, but for 5:40, I get up and I work 10 to 15 minutes on just focusing on what I'm going to accomplish for the day. So I take out my lime green notebook. It's got my goals in it for the year. It's got my notes in it. It's got show notes. It's got things, ideas, just whatever that I have going on. This thing comes with me, and I write down what I want to accomplish in the day. And so I take 10 to 15 minutes and say, hey, by 9 o'clock, I want to get this done. Some of the goals that you guys could maybe consider writing down at the beginning of the day and trying to achieve is drink a gallon of water a day. Maybe I want to get 10 items listed in one day. For my eBay business. That would be a great goal to set. Some people, don't get 10 items listed in a day. Sometimes things come up. Sometimes we sit around watching Netflix. Whatever it is, there's a ton of reasons why we may or may not get things done. I think taking 10 to 15 minutes at the beginning of the morning, at the beginning of the day, whenever it is that you wake up, writing down kind of an agenda for the day, what I want to accomplish, what times I want to have those done by, will absolutely help you achieve your goals. Now, when you're in the beginning, say you're starting your eBay business, and you get in these Facebook groups and you see people that are making $10,000 a month or $100,000 a year. Look, it's not impossible to do in this business. It's not. I don't make that much money. I have a lot going on, but that's not my goal for right now. It can and will be in the near future. But right now I'm focused on some other things, and I have my hand in a bunch of different little baskets at the moment. And when I get some things cleaned up in my life, I will make sure that is my focus, that my online business and my family head in that same direction, and that I have more time for both, where I'm not kind of being tugged and pulled in different directions. But let's just say, for example, you're an online reseller, it's year one, you're starting out, you don't know exactly how to get to where you want to go, and you start seeing these large numbers, people making $100,000 a year. Again, it's not impossible, but it takes focus, it takes goal setting, it takes discipline. And a lot of times I see people say, I want to make $1,000 a month, but it takes a lot of work to make $1,000 a month. Now, of course, you could say, well, that's only selling 10 $100 items. And when you think of it that way, no, it's really not that difficult. But finding 10 items that you can buy extremely cheap and then turn around and sell them for $100 takes experience and it takes time. And so one of the things I like to tell people when they start off in any business is to focus on 3 to 6 month goals. Start off with a 3-month goal and say, hey, in the first 3 months of my business, I want to sell $500 this month. How do I sell $500 in 1 month? Well, you start looking at the things that you know, and I always tell people when you're starting off selling on eBay, don't spend a dime on any inventory. Don't spend a dime. Look around your house, find what it is that you have that you know about. I know a lot about sports. I do sports broadcasting, so sports is huge in my family. I do coaching. I coach youth sports as well. So again, sporting equipment, team sports, anything related to sports in any way, I'm very well educated on. So I have a lot of jerseys, I have a lot of hats, I have a lot of bobbleheads, I have a lot of baseball cards. They're all things that throughout my life as a kid I collected, and I continue to collect them even in my 30s. So if you have a niche already, something that you're already comfortable with, something that you already know, start there. If you have a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards and you haven't touched them in 10 years, I'd probably start there. Start selling something that you already are comfortable, something that you're already knowledgeable about, and something that you already have. If you have old electronics at your house, VCRs, cassette players, old DVD VCR combos that you don't use, that's a good place to start. Start with things that you already know, that you already have, and that don't cost you any money to start selling. When I started reselling, I thought, hey, I've got to make, you got to have money to make money. And yeah, to a certain degree, that's true. But if you don't have any money, it's always easier to start off with the things you know. There's always a shirt in your closet that you don't wear anymore or doesn't fit you anymore. Start there. There's always a pair of jeans somewhere laying around your house that either your spouse or yourself no longer can get in. Start selling there. You probably got 25 pairs of shoes in your closet and you only wear 2 or 3. Start there. See, using small goals and remembering to stay focused on what you're doing day in and day out is always going to help you achieve your goals. So start 3 to 6 months and say, hey, in this first month, I'm going to try to sell $500. The next month, I'm going to try to sell $1,000. But stay focused on the goal. And also, I made a video about this earlier in the week. You might want to check it out. I'll probably link it up down below. But not going into debt to start your business. So many people go and say, hey, retail arbitrage, I'm going to go to Walmart and I'm going to clear out the clearance section. I'm going to put it all on my credit card and I'm going to sell it. And then I'm going to pay the credit card off and I'm going to continue the cycle. That's a bad business model. Anytime you lend money to, in turn, try to make money in the long term, I'm not saying that you can't do it that way, but in the long term, when you're starting out, it's a bad business model. Because what if you're not successful? What if you decide, 2, 3 months in, I don't really want to be listing stuff online. It takes too much time, it's too much work, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. And then what? Then you're stuck with all this inventory that you can't sell and you haven't paid off because it doesn't actually belong to you. It's, you put it on a credit card. So many reasons, some of those things will compound the stresses that already are around the reselling world. I mean, you get stressed out, believe me. I have thousands of items at my house and not all of them are listed. I don't just sell on eBay. I sell person to person on Craigslist. I sell on yard sale sites on Facebook. I sell in bobblehead sites, and I sell in different online sites for card collectors and stuff like that. So if you look at my online store and you say, well, he only has 75 things listed, he's not really an online reseller. Well, you're looking at it from one angle. Like I said before, I have my hand in a lot of different pots and I try to keep myself busy that way. But if you're putting things on credit, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to be successful, at least in the beginning. If later on, if you're making 10 grand a year, or 10 grand a month, and you say, I want to scale my business, I'm going to take out a small loan or whatnot to get this inventory going, that's a totally different thing. I still would not do that simply because I just don't believe in borrowing money for business. I would rather, take a slow nickel or a slow dime and do it that way and use cash and know that whatever I have in my possession is mine, and if I sell it or I don't sell it, I don't owe anybody for it. That's kind of the way I like to do my business. It's a slower approach, but hey, it's worked for Mark Cuban, and if he doesn't have credit cards and he doesn't take out loans to do business, then you know what? I think I'm doing the right thing. But again, that's a personal decision. But back to goal setting. Working in 3 to 6 month increments. Now, keep in mind, yes, you want to have long-term goals. You want to, if your goal is to sell, or bring home $100,000 a year in revenue, then yeah, you have to have a plan in place to get there. So you don't want to just stay in a 3 to 6 month bubble. You do want to have a long-term goal, but you don't want to focus on that long-term goal as immediate satisfaction. You don't want to get into it and say 6 months down the road, well, I'm not making 100 grand a year, I'm just going to quit. Well, it doesn't work that way. If you ask my buddy Jason T. Smith, I bet you he could tell you that he didn't make 100 grand a year in the first 6 months. He didn't make 100 grand in the first 3 months. It takes time. It takes experience. It takes making mistakes. Now, I don't want you guys to make mistakes, and that's why I try to make videos to help you improve or minimize the opportunity for mistakes. But things happen. Sometimes there are bad buys. We make mistakes. Unfortunately, that's how business works. When you compound that with, say, taking out loans and doing bad credit deals, that makes things even worse, and and a lot of times makes us fail. And so in our goal setting, I want you to make a goal for starting your business off without debt. So whether you're making $500 or $5,000, I want you guys to keep in mind that if you're paying in cash for the items that you purchase, those items are yours. You don't owe anybody for them. And if they take 6 months to sell, you still know that that money will be yours when the return is made. So keep that in mind. So we talked about hydration, which I need to get hydrated. The beach is really, really hot. So excuse me for that. We talked about taking 10 to 15 minutes at the beginning of the day to write down what goals you want to accomplish for that immediate day, or even for the week. Work, maybe take an hour and say, I want to accomplish this throughout the week, but make sure that those first 10, 15 minutes throughout your day, that you're looking through that list and you're making sure that you're going to accomplish those things throughout the day. Making 10 listings, getting 10 listings up online is a really, really good way of keeping your business steady. You always want to list something every day. Now, I haven't listed anything this week because I've been on vacation, and I've done that purposefully. I did that on purpose, and it's kind of an experiment that I'm doing. Now, I want you guys to understand that if you don't list things on eBay daily, you don't see that reward daily. You want to continue day in and day out listing You want to continue day in and day out looking at your listings, making sure that everything is correct, making sure your pricing is still competitive. These are all things that you take time throughout your day and you do. It doesn't take long. Just look through your listings. If you see something that's kind of stale, check the listing out. Did I write something wrong? Is it listed in an incorrect category? Is the price really stupid and it's crazy high and that's why it's not moving? Take those things into consideration, and you might want to write that down as one of the things you want to look at. Hey, I want to look over 10 or 15 listings today and make sure that they're listed in the correct category, that the information is correct, that they're listed as new or used, depending on whatever they are, whatever they actually are. And so some of that stuff is you might want to take into consideration throughout the day and make sure that you're looking at correctly. So going back to our goal setting, we talked about working in a 3 to 6 month window, and that also helps us because when things come up and they seem like a roadblock for us, we're not so far ahead of ourselves that we don't see the light. We don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because when you're thinking 5 years down the road, which is fine, as goals in general, it's cool to be 5 years down the road. But if you don't see things right in front of you at the moment, when a roadblock comes, when something, when somebody gives a really expensive return that you didn't see coming, or the items, some items aren't selling as quickly as you thought they were going to sell, or the profit just isn't there for a particular item. Those are like little roadblocks that we go through, and they stick in the back of our brains, and they're telling us, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I should just quit. When you have those small goals, those 3 to 6 month goals, it's easier to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's easier to push through. I've talked about accountability partners in the past. My wife, who is on the beach right now with my kids, is my accountability partner. She makes sure to tell me, hey, did you get this listed today? Are people watching it? What's the price? She keeps track of those things for me. In terms of a separate side business that I have, where I pick up returns, or I pick up yard sale items that people no longer are going to sell. They've had their yard sale for a weekend and they didn't sell it. They don't want it. When those things come up, my wife takes care of that for the business, and she lets me know, hey, we've got 2 pickups this week. We got to sort through them. We got to make sure this goes to the correct thrift store, because just because I get something for free doesn't mean I'm going to sell it. A lot of what I do with that stuff is I try to find people in my community that really need them. I go through the yard sale sites, and there are people in need, and they say, hey, look, I have a young family, or not too long ago there was a young lady who had her house burnt down. She had a house fire. They lost everything. They have 3 kids. The 2 of her boys are actually about the same age as my boys, and we were able to help them with our own stuff that doesn't fit my kids, and older toys and things that I had laying around from other yard sales that I had gotten. So it's not about only profit. If you're not making a positive impact in your community, if you're not making a positive impact with the people around you, if you're not helping others every opportunity you can, I guarantee you, you're not going to be as fulfilled and as successful. I think it's super important, and this is probably why I do a lot of these videos, is because I think it's important to give back. None of us are really competing. If I live in Georgia and you live in California, I don't see how I'm competing with you in the reseller world. I don't see how we're not colleagues in the industry. Even when I see resellers at the different thrift stores and at Goodwill or wherever it is, those people, some of them shy away. I don't, because I don't feel like I'm competing with them. If you find something good, that's awesome. I'll find something myself. It's just all about knowledge. But when you're talking about goal setting and staying positive and avoiding roadblocks and avoiding negativity, it's important to think, in the short term with the long term also ahead of you as well. You want to make sure that these things that you're talking about and these things that you're writing down and these goals that you have not only are going to give you a lucrative profit, but that they're just genuinely good things to do, that you're going to help other people. And I find it extremely rewarding to be able to help others. To me, I feel like that's just one of the purposes that I have in life. If I see someone that's going through a difficult time, if I see somebody that's having financial problems, if there's something that I can do to help them, even just simply using my platform and saying, hey, so-and-so needs some help. It happened to me a few weeks ago. I came across a gentleman that was homeless, and I honestly wasn't in a position to help him the way he needed help, but I got on my Facebook Live and I said, hey guys, I know that I have some very influential people in my friends, my online friends. If there's a way that you guys can help this gentleman, we got him a few nights in a hotel when the weather was really bad. We managed to get him some clothes for a job that he had, a job interview that he had. He got the job. We got him some clothes for his uniform. We got him hooked up with, the people he needed to be with to kind of stay on a clean path. And that's a success story. And so if I wasn't in a position to help someone else, if I didn't have the foresight to say, hey, let me at the very least pick up my phone and do a Facebook Live and introduce this gentleman and see how we can help him, I don't think that he would have gotten the help he needed. And it's not a pat on the back for me. It's not, I didn't do it to go viral. I didn't do it to do anything like that. It's just, that's what I feel like my calling is in this life. Yes, I want to be successful at my craft. Yes, I want to be a good role model for my kids. Yes, I want to, have a beach house, which this one's rented, but of course, my goal is to have a house on the beach one day, and I think I will accomplish that. I think it's a realistic goal, but I think it's more important to help other people in this world. I mean, there's a lot of negativity, and so when I set goals for myself, some of those goals are, what can I set aside to help someone else? What can I set aside to help the next generation? Because, just as easily as this gentleman was living on the street, who's to say it couldn't be me sometime? So find ways to help other people. And we as a community and as a world, a lot of times we like to bash the millennials and say, hey, yeah, it's the millennials that are ruining the work ethic, or they're ruining, the way people do things. I consider myself a senior millennial. I'm in my 30s. I'm in the .com era. I run a business online. I am young enough to understand what young people think and how they think. I'm old enough to know what I should and shouldn't do. So I consider myself a millennial. I say a senior millennial. And I just want to make a positive impact in the world. That's one of my life goals. It's one of my 3 to 6 month goals. How do I impact the short term? But it's also part of my long-term goals. And so I think it's really important that we find something that you're passionate about, and then find something that you want to strive for as well. Those are two really important, but they could be totally different things at the same time. Something that you're passionate about could be art. You could be passionate about music. You could be passionate about making money. All those things could be passions. But you also, if you want to find something that impacts the world, I think that's important as well, because it's fulfilling, not just in your bank account, but it's fulfilling on the inside. I mean, you want to feel like a decent human being, and when you set goals for that purpose, you will succeed. I promise you. It's not always going to be, perfect. You'll never not have roadblocks. You'll never not have haters. You'll never not have somebody say you can't do it. There's always going to be somebody that's going to tell you that you can't accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish. But I can guarantee you, when your main goal is to be the best version of yourself, which is what I try to tell people to be, when your main goal is to make a positive impact in the world, I can guarantee you that no matter what roadblock gets in front of you, or no matter what a hater says about you, if you stay focused on what you're doing and you do it for the right reasons, you'll always be successful. It may not be immediate, but in the long term, everything works its way out. And so I want to leave you guys with that, some goal setting tips. Definitely stay hydrated, guys. I'm telling you, we are mostly made up of water. So if you want to stay focused, if you want to lose a little weight, if you want to just feel better on the inside so that you can perform better on the outside, I'm telling you, drinking water is huge. Drink a gallon a day, drink half a gallon, start drinking a cup. I don't care what you do, drink some water. It's going to help you be a lot more alert, a lot more on top of things. Write down some of your goals, 10 to 15 minutes at the beginning of your day. Write down whatever you want to accomplish for the day. Make sure that you stick to that. By 9 a.m. I want to do this. By noon, before lunch, I want to have 10 items listed. By this day, by this point in the day, I want to have everything dropped off at the post office. Whatever that is, stay on top of it. I've talked about accountability partners. My wife, like I said before, is at the beach right now with my kids. Enjoying the day, but she's my accountability partner. She's my best friend, and so she makes sure that I stay focused on what needs to be done. This was something that I had lined up for today. Last night when I was writing down my my to-do list for today, this was it. This was one of those things I needed to be on. I wanted to be on for half an hour. I wanted to take the time to move somebody into a positive positive weekend. I wanted to move you into doing something that you probably weren't going to do. Maybe write down something 3 to 6 months down the road that you want to accomplish, and maybe try to get you in that direction. I can't force you to get up and list your items. I can't force you to get up and take your pictures. I can't force you to clean up your stuff, organize your rooms, organize your offices, organize your workspace. I can't force you to do that. But I can get on here and at the very least ask you, hey, do this. It's going to, you're going to see the rewards. You're going to reap rewards from it. So if you got something out of the message, fantastic. That was the whole goal. Drink your water, write down your goals. 3 to 6 months out, write down your goals. Long term, have an accountability partner. Find somebody. If you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife or whatever, remember why you're doing what you're doing. Are you doing it to pay your bills? Are you doing it because you want to move out of your parents' house? Are you doing it because you want to go to school and pay for college? If those are your goals, if those are the reasons you're doing it, then make those your accountability partner. Say, hey, I want to make enough money in the next few months to pay for my first semester of college. I want to make X amount of dollars within the next 3 months so that I can move out of mama's basement. That's your accountability partner. Write it down. If you don't have somebody to go to and force you to stick to what you're trying to accomplish, write it down. Write it down. Put a date to that goal. Say in 6 months I want to have this accomplished. Look at it every single day. Write it on the fridge. Put it on the fridge. Put it on the mirror when you brush your teeth every morning. Write it on your hand. Whatever you feel like you need to do. Put a reminder in your phone and make it your alarm every single day. Hey, I wake up at 7 in the morning. Make sure that my goal is written on there. It's extremely important to be held accountable for whatever your goals are. If I want to lose 10 pounds, put down the cheeseburger, grab a gallon of water, and go for a walk. Start somewhere. I'm not telling you you're going to accomplish everything in the first week. It rarely happens. There's there's not some magic potion to losing weight. There's not some magic potion to making $100,000 a year. You could probably go down to the corner store and grab a scratch off for $1 and win $100,000. Yeah, possibly. But if you're not mentally ready to have that much money, you're probably going to blow it anyway. So make the right choices now so that you can accomplish your goals. Stay hydrated, ladies and gentlemen. It is a hot summer. Of course, I'm here at the beach. Not trying to rub that into anybody. It took a lot of hard work to get to be able to take a week off, have 8 or 9 days to spend with my family. But I still wanted to take 30 minutes out of my busy morning to meet with you guys, talk to you about a little bit of goal setting, some inspiration and some motivation. Guys, it's Friday. Take some of my tips, look into some of my videos in the past. I made a video about going out and talking to people at yard sales and saying, hey, I'll take all this stuff off your hands at the end of your yard sale if you don't want to haul it off or you don't want to bring it back into your house. It's a simple message, a simple email, a simple phone call. Head out in your daily thrifting, and just talk to people. Make connections, and you will be amazed how much inventory you could come up for free in a lot of cases. So guys, this is David. I am here every week to bring you inspiration and motivation and help you be the best version of yourself. I also make YouTube videos, tips and tricks on how to grow your online business, whether that be eBay, Amazon, Etsy, or whatever it is that you like to sell online. I try to give you those tips to really put you above where you want to be at. Don't forget that goal setting is extremely important. Take a few minutes every day, write down what you want to accomplish for the day, for the week, for the month, and keep yourself within a 3 to 6 month window of goals so that you can stay fresh, stay motivated, and stay on top of things. Have somebody important in your life hold you accountable for those goals. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I may go live tomorrow, I may not, depending on what I have lined up for tomorrow. Of course, I got to write down that stuff at the end of the night, what I want to accomplish. For the rest of the day, I will be hanging out with my family at the beach. I really need to start doing this. I get burned out super fast at times. You're right, bearded picker. It happens to the best of us. We get burned out at times. Jeanette, thank you. It's important. We really need to stay focused on what we want to accomplish. I love the fact that there's even 2 people, 3 people watching this video, because that tells me that it's worth my time to do this. If I can brighten your day in any way, whether it's simply by making a YouTube live video, by answering a message or a question that you guys may have, to me, I feel like I'm making a positive impact, and that's what it's all about for me. I love making a positive impact. I love making kids smile. I love acting like a clown and making people laugh. I wear crazy stuff. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see some of the weird stuff I've been wearing on vacation. I enjoy making light of situations sometimes. Sometimes you just have to laugh to be able to just make it through the day. But guys, continue to do what you're doing. Find somebody that can help you accomplish your goals. If you need me to be your accountability partner, shoot me an email at thespotcornerstore@gmail.com. You can always find me at the David Maradiaga Show. Like my page on Facebook. You can add me as a friend at David Maradiaga on on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at David Maradiaga. And I'll link up some videos down below later on in the day if you're watching this on the replay. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'm going to enjoy, again, like I said before, I'm going to enjoy the beach. Not trying to rub that in, but it took a lot of hard work to be able to take a week off and be able to enjoy my family without debt, no credit cards. So I'm very proud of that. So thank you, Jeanette. Bearded Picker, have a great day. Stay humble, stay hungry, and stay hustling. Take care.